call Finance Property Committee meeting to order at 5:17 in the first floor conference room at City Hall. All members are present, but we have new people, so let's go around the table again and introduce ourselves, please. Terry Dolan.
Greg Hepp.
Steve Coe.
Tom Rayland, Alderman.
Lee Tall, Alderman.
Scott Kellogg, Alderman.
Mayor Zach Ruink.
Cindy Schlichting, Finance.
And Todd Ferky, City Alderman.
Jeff Williams with CVB and Cranberry Blossom Festival.
Go ahead, Brad.
Jim Brown, River City Cat.
Paul Ballard, Rapid Street Department.
Joe Terry, Director of Public Works.
Sue Schill, City Attorney.
Jonathan Anderson,
Matt Sikowski, Southwood County YMCA.
Ellen Raisler, Wisconsin Rapids Community Theater.
All right. Call the meeting to order. Item number 2 is request from Wisconsin Rapids Community Theater for permission to serve intoxicating liquor at their Artie Party event on March 19, 2016 in the Centralia Center Riverwalk area in the Studio Theater.
Yes.
Sure.
I had sent a proposal along, I don't know if you got the accompanying information, but this is our 3rd year of Artie Gras, and it's really a celebration of all of the arts, not just community theater. We have several partners with us in this. We're very excited in our 3rd year. This is the first time that we're bringing some international acts that will be performing in the U.S. for the first time. So it's a very exciting event. It will be running March 10th through the 19th, and on the information I sent over, I had 35 events. We've got 50 events now, so we're very excited that this is becoming a regional festival for the arts. We received a GEM grant from the Wisconsin Department of Tourism, and so we're excited that they are showing their support in this event as well. There's a lot of information on the sheet that I sent out, and actually I'm kind of excited because today is the day that the brochures came in, so I'm going to leave some of these with you if you're interested in them. You're the first people to see these. They haven't even gone out in the mail yet, so that lists all of the events and what's going on. It culminates on the last day with what we're calling this year Artie Party. In the past 2 years it was called the Masquerade Ball, but we're kind of making it a little bit more informal, cutting the ticket price in half, and having a real party. Would like to have a real party atmosphere for it. We'll be having a performance in the theater of kind of they're called eclectic strings this year for the entertainment portion of that, and would like permission to serve a limited amount of specialty drinks, which we have done in the last couple of years too. It's not, full bar. We will have generally about 3 specialty drinks that we serve along with beer and wine. So we're asking for permission for that and for use of the Riverwalk, which we would apply through the regular application process for the use of that. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I guess
was handling this request, so yeah, everything is in order. This is something that they've been doing for a few years. The lease, they do have a full beer license, or a full license, which actually is beer, wine, and liquor, but our lease with them only provides that they can have beer and wine unless the Finance and Property Committee approves the use of intoxicating liquor. I guess what we could do is either, they use it very limited situations, and I guess specifically just this, I think, that we might consider amending the lease, and maybe the clerk just approves, or, well, yeah, I guess that would be how we do it, for them not coming back. I guess that's up to you. That's how the lease is written now. We haven't had any issues at all, and I guess it's a good time for you to get PR for your event, so maybe you don't mind coming each year, but otherwise everything else is covered through the Riverwalk application, which is an administrative application that does not come through finance or council. So, but I would recommend approval of the request.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to for the request for Wisconsin Rapids Community Theater for permission to serve intoxicating liquor at their Artie event on March 19, 2016 in the Centralia Center Riverwalk area and the Studio Theater.
I'll second that.
Further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 3, consider a special events application from the Southwood County YMCA for a 3-mile run on the morning of Saturday, June 18th, 2016, in conjunction with the Cranberry Blossom Festival. The run will start at Witter Field, down Meade Street to 2nd Street South, and over the Grand Ave Bridge, then along the trail, along 1st Avenue South to the Riverview Expressway Bridge, to 3rd Street South to Meade Street, and back to Witter Field. Para, please note that the date of the event and run route has changed from what it was on the application. The application includes A, closure of Lincoln Street from Beach Street to Chestnut Street from approximately 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., allowing local residential access. B, establishment of a runner's lane and assistance with runner crossings along the route identified above. C, food vending availability, prepare sandwiches, fruit, and drinks.
And this is also something that I worked with Matt from the Y on, and then he has a map, I guess, so that you can see
Yes,
the
sure.
road. The original date was the night of Raptors game, so that wasn't going to work. So they're going to do it on Saturday.
Oh, that's why it's a little bit.
Yeah, and then working with the street department, and the police department, we met with with Matt, and suggested a different route so that it's just a little safer and didn't involve hard closures of roads. So I don't know, maybe if you just want to jump where
Sure,
that
if
goes
I-
and explain about your event.
I appreciate that, Sue. Well, listen, I want to thank you for inviting me here and explaining this opportunity. And I've been a resident of Wisconsin Rapids for about a year. Previous 12 years, I lived in Chicago, worked for the YMCA, and actually lived in the LaGrange area. I'm not sure if you're all familiar with the Chicagoland area, but I've been here in Wisconsin Rapids for 1 year, and what really strikes me about this community is the beauty of it. Is the Wisconsin River, the bridges that go over the Wisconsin River, and it's just wonderful to be here. It really is. And we had originally, for the previous 20 years, have done a triathlon out at Wakes Wasicha. The previous 5 years, we've seen a lot of decline in attendance. It was just time for us to do a different event, to start anew. And we couldn't think of a better way than to partner with the Blossom Fest, which is a great community event, and partner with them to offer a great community event, a great run that really celebrates all that's great about Wisconsin Rapids, to make an event that people are proud of and that the community can support. What our race entails is starting off at Witter Field, which is the home base of the Blossom Fest. Starting down, going down Meade Street, all the way to Meade Street, taking a right on 2nd Street, crossing over the West Grand Bridge. Now this is the 1 mile mark. You go over the West Grand Bridge, and then you're on the trail leading all the way to Expressway Bridge. And I'm not sure if any of you have ever participated in a 5K or a 10K or a half marathon running over a bridge. It's a great experience. It's a neat thing. So we cross over the Expressway Bridge, and then when we get to the 3rd Street, we stay on the sidewalk, take a left, eventually take you all the way up to Meade Street, take you up a slight hill back to Witter Field. I never promised this would be an easy race. So you go up a little hill, back to the start and finish. So I will say this, I know we have a dedicated group of volunteers and staff that is committed to making this a fun, safe event, and an event, again, that the city can be proud of. And again, we feel it's just more of a celebration of all that is good about Wisconsin Rapids, to really highlight the downtown area. I know there's a push to revitalize that area for renewal, and we think this is a special way of doing that. And again, being partnered with the Blossom Fest is just a natural thing for us.
Yeah, and just to inform the committee, the Blossom Fest met this morning. We spoke with a representative from the Y. We're ready to incorporate it in our marketing. I mean, it's a great fit, being home base at Whitterfield, where all of our events are anyways, and we're excited about it. I think it's a really good addition. You know, looking to expand Blossom Fest every year, this is a great expansion of it.
You know, we have the parking available on Saturday morning. Also, what we plan on doing is having like a kid dash as well, and still fitting with the YMCA, making this a family event celebrating, you know, health and wellness and a healthy living style for all. And again, we're just thrilled to be part of the Blossom Fest. So if you all have any questions, I'd be happy to take your questions.
Just a comment, I'm not on the committee. Well, to make it more interesting, we still had that train trestle there to run over. Instead of the bridge. I crossed it a few times, I probably shouldn't say it.
What was that? It was the,
Used to be a train trestle where the bridge is there.
Wow, okay. That would have been interesting,
Yeah.
so.
My cousin actually jumped on that island and broke his leg as a train.
So, most all of the route is left turns, right? So you're gonna not really be crossing a lot of streets, but on Mead Street itself, is that a through street, or, I know it's a through street, but as far as the stop signs and stuff like that, do you have people, volunteers that will
Yes,
watch
well,
traffic?
we'll have, I mean, I'm a runner myself. I've been running most of my adult life. I can't say I'm an avid racer. I've done maybe a half marathon, just one race a year, but I know I spoke with a lot of passionate racers that have done like 20 races a year, and they said the key to any successful run are the volunteers. The volunteers that will direct you where to go, and it'll be at critical parts where there's safety, where you can cross over to the running lane. So I know we have strong volunteer support for our triathlon. We have a committed group of people that are dedicated to making this a great event and a safe event as well. And I know we identify, when I talked with Sue, some areas that there's definitely need a lot of people that'll be volunteering and directing the runners where to go and watching the traffic as well.
Right, and there'll be police auxiliary. We met with the police department, so they are prepared for, you know, basically Lincoln Street and then Main Street probably,
Yes.
and then the crossing at
Third
Third.
Street, yeah.
It's, right, so they're very confident in everything, and are willing to help out.
Alderman Fergie, that's virtually the same route that Assumption uses for their Royal event, and that's how they handle that. They have police auxiliary there to stop traffic on 3rd Street when runners are approaching or whatever. Obviously, if it's people walking, it's not as crucial as somebody who's running. You know, they would hold cars or whatever if they need to, but otherwise, it's virtually all residential streets that they're going down. And if Lincoln Street is closed, that's, you know, your other arterial street that will be closed off to traffic, so.
I've ran the course a few times. Again, this is a great event, and again, highlighting just what is great about this area. I will say, coming on 3rd Street on the sidewalk, there are a few displacements that we would have to have volunteers or just like a cone just to let people know that it's easy to kind of trip on that, but.
And
I suppose-
geese, and lots of geese.
Yeah.
You won't trip on
Lots of
them.
red.
Volunteers will chase that slip by.
They might bite you.
To me, it's a good track, or whatever you want to call it. I've ran the one for Assumption and a couple other ones on pretty much the same
Sure.
area, so. And they've all had great volunteers and great ease of crossing, so I don't have a problem with it at all.
I appreciate you bringing the run downtown. You said about sort of our efforts and our desire to create more activity downtown, so it's a great, I think, event to, because Blossom Fest scatters a lot, and I think this is a good way to kind of bring people back downtown and center. You know, I think Laura Nelson actually shared the idea a couple years ago about doing some sort of run event with Blossom Fest, so I'm glad to see that this kind of just happened to come together.
Sure.
So I'm glad to see that.
Yeah, I mean, we're extremely excited about it, and And again, we're committed to making an event that the city's proud of.
Be nice if we had the East Side Trail done at this time, but maybe this time next year we'll be thinking about a timing of when it'll happen. I had to throw that in there, but it's nice to have a West Side Trail to make this possible, I guess.
Yeah,
Take
absolutely.
it a step further.
Yeah, I'm just gonna run that.
Finish those
Chris
off.
Carter's wrong, yeah.
You know I won't have to.
I think so, yeah. Yeah. She asked if it's being promoted as a run walk.
It's a run walk, absolutely.
Because there are many of us that aren't as
Yeah, no,
fit and would go if it was a walk,
Right.
not a run.
It's just a run walk.
You don't have to worry about the geese, you have to worry about the dogs.
On leashes.
What is the motion?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to allow the consideration for a special events for this application. I have to read the whole thing.
I'll second that. Good call.
Okay, we have a motion, a second, any further discussion? Again, great idea, so thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
And work on the registration form right away, so
Well,
thank
You
you
have
very
to
much.
register?
Now you gotta walk, now you gotta walk. Maybe I will walk.
Thanks a lot.
Go out, walk.
Thank you.
Walking's good, walking's good.
Item 4, review and possible action on a street department tractor backhoe replacement bid. We're in 94, you should be good for a while yet.
Any extra?
Oh, no, it's coming up.
It's coming around. Thank you. Equipment replacement fund. Put money in.
I call it contingency. You call it.
So, I guess just to give you a history on this, I believe this unit was budgeted for last year to be replaced, it didn't get done. We had, 2 bidders on it. We demoed, similar machines from each one of these companies. This is a larger tractor backhoe than average. It's what we use for our catch basin maintenance, and so for that reason, we need a larger one than standard to be able to lift our structures and put them in place. Brooks Tractor is the low bidder with a base bid at $170,000 with a $20,000 deduct for our trade-in. It's a John Deere 710L. There are some options that both companies have spec'd out, but we haven't decided whether or not we need those options or whatever, so right now we're just coming to you with the base tractor or whatever. I believe the discussion with Jim and Joel was to make a recommendation to purchase the John Deere tractor, but having to go and look at one, because we have not seen the 710L. We have seen a 450 that's made by the CAT. At this time, the 710L is the new model, so it's they have some available, but right now, according to the vendor, they're out in Arizona right now at like cons.
Good time to go look at
Yeah,
them.
we're going to Arizona. But no, it's my understanding that they're going to be getting them back to Dubuque where they're manufactured, or something coming off the line here in the near future. So, like I say, it's my understanding that we're recommending the John Deere with, based on seeing the actual model that we're going to purchase and it being acceptable to us.
So if you don't like what the John Deere one is.
Correct.
You have to come back to the committee to get the other,
I guess you
change,
would.
or, I mean, just so it's clarified, I think.
With that kind of price difference, I think that would be the intent. We didn't want to just ask for a recommendation to approve a piece of equipment that we actually haven't laid our hands on. We just need to be certain that that's the right machine for the city.
We have used a 410L, which is, according to the vendor, the exact same machine. It's just a smaller horsepower machine and a smaller stick. but, you know, it was Jim and Joe's suggestion that we actually go and see the machine to make sure it's what you say it is before we spend $100.
Any trip that you could be well worth that to be certain.
Sure. And just the tractor either. We are also purchasing a hydraulic breaker that's going to go on the back stick of the machine, which is going to replace a 35-year-old concrete breaker that we have. And it's also going to purchase a 12-foot wide of it so that we can get our parking lots cleared quicker. You know, everybody's up in the morning and sees all the contractors using pushers in parking lots. Well, we're a little bit behind the times and don't have any, so this is going to be equipped with a snow pusher as well.
Anything else?
So this John Deere tractor has all that on?
Yes, yeah, both of these both prices are spec'd the exact same way. Both of them have a hydraulic breaker and both of them have a 12-foot snow pusher in it.
So you're really just looking for approval to take action and go off and look at it, right?
What we're looking for is a motion to purchase the John Deere contingent upon staff's approval of selecting that piece of equipment. So to paraphrase, if staff finds that it's not suitable, we would not purchase that piece of equipment, we'd come back and discuss it.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the street department to purchase the John Deere tractor for $150,000, right? $150,000?
Contingent on-
Contingent on seeing the actual vehicle.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion carried. Thanks. Item 5, consider recommendation from Statewide Services to deny a claim from Jerry Romanski for damages to the vehicle.
Basically, they hit a pothole in the road. Well, it wasn't really a pothole, it was a manhole that the cover had been how we don't know. We talked to the streets people and everything, and they said they've never seen it happen, so in all the years they've been here, so they're not really sure what could have made it happen. But as soon as the police called our department, they went out there, they fixed it and made sure everything was in place and good. Apparently, there was another driver there that also had hit it. We haven't heard anything from them or anything, but of course, we are not held liable for that or responsible because we didn't know about it and we did our due diligence as soon as we found out about it. And so we are held responsible for it, so we're held harmless. So we're asking you to deny it, and that's what our insurance carrier said as well.
I'll make a motion to deny the claim from Gary Romanski for damage to their vehicle per Statewide Services.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item 6, consider a request to increase the rates in the fare structure for River City Cab. Note of point, this item will be reported to the March 15, 2016 council meeting, which will include a public hearing.
It pretty much sums it up.
You don't want to say that.
Yeah, it has been, there hasn't been a rate increase since 1999. I can tell you, I don't think this would have a huge effect on, to most of the general public. I think one of the things we'll look at is the agency fee, which is those that, we call it agency fee if you're DVR, other funded community care program, if you're in another government funded program that pays for some of these trips, and it's a agency fee. But I can tell you that right now, for a long time, we are at full capacity. We cannot go faster. And I only see that more and more requirement for the service. Since 2006, it's probably up 35–40%. Where we are at full capacity for what we bid on for that service, which was a 5-year deal. It's now going into the 3rd year. So this really doesn't affect us in that manner. We put a bid in, and that's what we get from the city, what our bid was. But this can affect the local share or anything else that they wish to do with that funding, or make changes to the program. But I think maybe Mr. Mayor can, if you would want to change the bid, you'd have to send out another bid and start all over if you wanted to change the service. So currently, this is just about increasing the rates, and we're looking at 25 cents for the public, adult, and reduced fare rates. And I think we're looking at 50 cents for the agency fee. And more importantly, probably, is the out-of-town service that we provide, which the city has been gracious enough to allow, but it does interfere with, since the local share only comes from the city of Wisconsin Rapids, we really don't have. And so that's something where we thought about maybe $1. For example, if I went out to Kellner and picked somebody up and brought them to Rapids, say it's 7 miles, I charge 7 miles at $1.25 a mile. One thing we could look at is charging for 14 miles, not only going out there but coming back, or perhaps putting a base rate and then charging the mileage fee, which a lot of other shared ride programs do. And perhaps the other municipalities want to get more involved and subsidize them a little bit too.
I'm not sure if this service you guys get calls on, but this is probably the one service I get the most calls on. And it's because it's so heavily used, to Jim's point. We've had a pretty open relationship discussing concerns and problems throughout the years and that I've been in office. I think it's been a great thing because they've been responsive to those. And one of the challenges related to the fares is the trickle-down effect that it has on wages. I know I brought it up when the contract came out a year, 2 years ago, Dave Batten's last contract, so a year and a half ago. One of the major complaints I get is about service, and when you're seeing what these drivers make, I know retention's been a challenge, turnover, and then obviously the type of personnel they're able to hire, especially when retailers now are $10 an hour in town. And it's sort of, there's a lot of competition for that labor pool. So we had some conversation about something has to give. At some point, the city needs to look at ways to provide relief for those drivers to be able to be paid a bit more. And so I think this is a good step in the right direction. It's not going to solve the problem overnight, but I think it's we know what costs have done since '99, and to say that we haven't increased any fares since that period. And then appreciation for the mention of the out-of-city limits. I think when you think about how many drivers you have on staff at any given time and the time they're spending outside the city, that's a concern to me because we should be first and foremost concerned about providing service to our residents. And so I think capturing more revenue for those out-of-city limit trips is important. So I appreciate the work done by Cindy and Jim to get to this point because I think this is a good step in the right direction. There's a lot of people that come to depend on this service and rely on it for their transportation to work, some kids to school. I mean, there's a whole host of reasons why this service is essential for many of our residents. Many of which have acknowledged that our rates haven't changed and question, is there a correlation between rates not changing and service that they're receiving? And so they're connecting the dots in their own head, which I think is interesting. I think a good reason for why it's on your agenda tonight.
I guess I would like to say too, it's not that they're not getting the service, but instead of a 15 or 20-minute wait, you're seeing 30, 40, 50 minutes, and that's too long.
And so one of the reasons that we're looking at the out-of-city limits is because of that. We should be taking care of our city residents first, and that is going to be a priority. And we're also looking at better ways to schedule pickups, so you can reserve a ride, things like that, better ways to improve it. We also want to improve our communication, so we're looking to put something on the city's webpage about information on the taxi cab, and just take a little bit more interest in how we service our residents with the taxi service that we have. Hopefully we'll improve the knowledge, we'll improve what they can expect of us, and what we can expect of our riders too. You know, there's certain things that we expect of them as well. And I think that communication of those things is a number one key thing to help having a successful program.
It is amazing, for years people, it's a shared ride program, but they still don't get it.
Yeah, they don't understand what shared ride
Really
is, that you might be picking up others along the way, but in order to get the funding from the state and the federal governments, that's the type of transit program we have to have.
I'll make a motion to approve the increase in fares charged, or charges by River City Cabs per the outline attached.
I will second that motion.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Thanks, Jim. Thank you. Item 7, beverage operator license applications. Everybody look at it? Yep. Entertain a motion?
Motion to approve the beverage operator license applications.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 8, audit of the bills. There's not a chance to look at them. I make a motion to accept the audit of the bills as presented. Vouchers. Check number 2149 through what? Oh, wait, Mr. Perky has a question. That's okay, it's only a question. Go ahead, ask your question. We didn't find the number yet anyhow.
Check number 62205, it's the Red Ox Seafood and Steakhouse for $630.
Holy mackerel.
Is that
What number was that?
62205.
62205, so
Mary, you entertaining it? It's a good question.
well, I wasn't invited.
Yeah.
It's from the Lowell Center,
Okay.
and they had a driver, and so they must have gone over there for some kind of a show or something, because there was a driver, and hostess, and several attendees that went. So it's been an outing that the Lowell Center had.
Where to?
Pardon me?
Where to?
To the Red Ox Seafood and Steakhouse on Oneida Street in Appleton, Wisconsin. And it was for a trip on February 8th.
So participants pay the Lowell Center and then the city pays the check for the Lowell Center?
Yes, I'm sure the expenses were offset by
Okay.
the revenue from it, yeah. That's what I would assume, you know?
Probably some type of show or something.
I'm thinking,
I'm
yeah.
trying to think what.
Or maybe to the casino. You know, participants to the casino.
But it's something that the city is being reimbursed for?
Yes, I'm sure,
Okay.
yes. At least that's what I can tell from here anyway, so I would assume it would.
Okay.
unless you're being really nice and just sending a bunch of people over there for the day.
There you go.
Alrighty then.
Anybody else got questions? It says make a motion to accept the audit bills, check number 62149 through 99012.
I will second your motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to adjourn.
I second that. Adjourned at, what
I
is
can't
it,
even write as fast as you're moving.
5:53 PM.